All right, good evening, everyone. Time is 6:30. Date is July 18, 2022. It's a special Abington Conservation Commission meeting. The only item is discussion and possible vote on the enforcement order for 0 Hancock Street. Was it Thursday or Friday?
Thursday.
Thursday, Gene and Tim went out for a site walk with the homeowner, the wetland scientist Nicole Hayes, and Andrew Point from DEP. Was anybody else present for that? You guys want to give a rundown of what happened at that meeting? Because that was the first time that DEP had actually seen the property since the flags were up.
Okay. We all met at the top of the hill, and Andrew was there and wanted an overview. So we kind of like described what was going on, and then the walk started down to the property. I was asked to, well, I wasn't asked, I kind of appointed myself just to take all the notes and try to document everything. When we crossed over the first, as you get into the woods, there was a PVC pipe, and he stopped and he looked at that but didn't say anything. Moved on, and there was an outcropping of giant boulders on the same side as the PVC, and he stopped and looked at that but just kept going on because Nicole said, here is the first impact area. So Andrew had brought his Munsell chart with him and his Dutch auger, and she said, I thought you were here for delineation, for the erosion control. And he goes, well, I'm here and I have this. I want to do it all at once. I don't want to make 2 trips back. So he started checking all the flagging. Some of the flags that he checked were in incorrect spots in the first crossing, and they have to be moved because hydric soils were hit, which he said that she would have to recalculate the impact areas. Then we moved, there were a few flags that have to be moved. I don't remember exactly how many.
Gene, are those the impact areas on this plan, or?
I couldn't really read and verify. I was just writing down what he was saying, and he was...
Let me look and see if it matches the old plan that...
I think I probably wrote the first one down wrong, because if you look here, I can't read those maps. Can you read?
You have to go to that big one. Even that is hard.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I just want to see if it matches.
Well, it was right at the first crossing.
Yeah, it looks the same as the one from last week, too.
So, as you're going down the path, on the left-hand side was where he started with the Dutch auger. And the first 2 markers that he hit, I believe he said he had to move. They had to be relocated. And he asked her if she concurred, if it was a hydric soil that he had come up, and she did. Then he moved to the right-hand side as you're walking in, and he was okay with flags there. Then we proceeded down to the next resource area, and that's when Tim went down the hill with him, and I kind of stayed up on the hill, and I just kept telling them to speak louder so I could just write down what they were saying. So Tim, you can take it over from there.
So when we came to the second crossing area, Andrew performed some of the soil clearings, and he came up with similar results as he did in the first crossing. He had to, widen a couple of the flags over there. A couple of them were in good position. It was a matter of, 3 to 5 feet, I would say, on an average. And then we discussed stabilization now as immediate action, and it was agreed on site that we would allow a silt fence 50 feet on each side to be installed, and then the applicant would come before this board to ask for permission for mechanical assistance with the silt socks, that being a mini excavator. And then after checking that area, we kind of headed back out with Andrew, and then he checked the other 2 initial areas, the one with the corrugated pipe, and then the second crossing that had some disrupted boulders kind of stacked. So he did a core sample on the area that was, like stacked boulders, we'll call it. And he did find that there'd be about 10 to 11 inches of fill in that area. He did find
Hydric
soils. Yeah, soils evident for the wetlands. And then he didn't do any core samples, but he did look at the drainage pipe that was originally thought to have been put in with the development, but the pipe was dated, I believe,
2020?
no, I think it was November 2020.
Right.
So that would have obviously gone in at some point after construction, when, we don't know. And I think Andrew was gonna look into that area and see if that might be a intermittent stream, perennial stream, something that might have been there.
Right. Between the first crossing and the second crossing, though, we did take our little stroll down the bike,
That's correct,
the
yes.
BMX bike track that they've been using, and we went over to the stream that was, I think, indicated as intermittent, but when Andrew observed it and the water was flowing, it has a gravel bottom, it would be considered perennial.
And they show up on the USGS maps. You have them in front of you right now. There's a stream. It looks like it's on the abutting property, but they have gone over to the abutting property. But it's Beaver Brook, and a tributary to Beaver Brook. We have, we definitely have a perennial stream unless proven otherwise. So we have, riverfront impacts as well as wetland impacts, guys.
And we know that riverfront impact is a 200-foot area.
And it's still flowing even though we're down like 6 inches.
It was flowing.
Yeah, it was full.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, which is great, but amazing
Yeah.
this weather.
So his recommendations,
Who, Andrew?
yes, I'm sorry. Andrew's recommendations were to survey the property to see where the boundaries are. He also recommended the stabilization and the erosion controls. He'd like to see it all as a one-shot deal. He doesn't want to have to see the path keep getting impacted. He also brought up the removal of the fill that's in there and where is that going to go and where is it going to be placed, because it can't be within the 100-foot buffer. Is there another place on the property where it can be deposited, or will it have to be taken out? These are the things that the board has to consider. I'm trying to see what else he wrote. The delineation was performed with a handheld device, and it wasn't sure if it was done using a Trimble GPS system, which allows for more accuracy. From the internet, the Trimble GPS system has the precision of within 2 centimeters based on subscription level, so he had mentioned that, so, I just wrote everything down.
Yeah, there's other ones, the same thing.
Yeah, but again, I just made, as he talked and they talked, Nicole and him talked back and forth, I just wrote everything down.
So it seems like there's a sort of a number of steps we need them to take. We need a real survey done.
Well, one thing too, I know Andrew reached out to me on Friday, where the plan shows that the largest of the impacted wetlands is on private property. He was under the assumption it was possibly DCR land. And he wanted to get them involved, because if it is, they might want specific contractors to do the work.
Right.
Is anybody here from DCR? Right. Is anybody from DCR here? You want to get up, just say your name and...
Hi, good evening. My name is Sean Preventure, and I'm the land protection agent for DCR for Southeastern Mass. I don't know the details about how the delineations and all that get established, but I think we agree 100% if there's an opportunity to get a land survey here, that would be extremely helpful in determining whether or not some of these impacts happened on DCR land. And our wetland ecologist wasn't able to make it tonight as well, and we would love for her to have some say if we are on DCR property
That would be
in
great.
terms of mitigation. She's happy to help.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We, based on the assessor's map, it says state park. Whether it's really state park or the Parecki land, I think that's part of the survey.
Right.
And it needs to be addressed. But it does say state park right there, where the impact is on the DCR property. And DCR does have the perennial streams on it as well, so, it is important that we help them get that, restored as well. But I think we have steps. It's the survey. The wetland delineation, obviously, there's issues with it. I don't understand why she didn't do more soil cores where there was a disturbance, why she based it on plant life when the plant life was disturbed. I have a real problem with that. And I really would like to see us ask for more cores, just all overall and along the disturbed area to make sure that we've actually gotten all of the wetland. I know you said it was
3 to 5 feet.
That's what he found when he was out there, but, I'd like to see that along the entire property boundary, along the disturbance every so often, so that we can feel comfortable that we have gotten the line delineated correctly. She should have done it, but she didn't, so it's just a little weird.
And also,
She did do it.
excuse,
She did it.
She did a few. She did not do
She
it.
did it, and there's a discrepancy in opinions.
Mr. Chairman,
Could you state your name, go up to the podium?
you got to come to the podium.
Yeah, sorry, I should
That's
direct
all right.
through the chair, sorry.
I'm the landowner, Colin Haviland. So there was a discrepancy of the land soil, or the soil samples taken. She expressed to me, she's a wetland scientist, she's a professional at this. She said there's a difference of opinion, and when we were out there, everyone agreed on the council, it was 3 to 5 feet. There's no crazy difference of, 10 to 20 feet each way. It was 3 to 5 feet, as Tim will say.
And that was
And
for the
we
flag.
moved, so we moved them once he was there, but it's not, we're doing everything we can to fix this.
Right.
And, the more steps we take, the slower this is.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to get this thing fixed. But if you continue to, add these things about 3 to 5 feet after we fix them, it's just going to take longer, but we don't want that either. We're just trying to get this thing fixed.
I think minimally you're gonna see more soil cores in the first two areas that haven't been cored, because she never really assumed that was wetlands, where the drainage pipe
Yeah,
is in that
yeah.
second one. Definitely gonna expect.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm talking about the
Right.
first section, right?
The first crossing, I think I would be comfortable with what Andrew performed, but the second crossing, I think a couple extra cores out there might not be too bad.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have somebody doing coring anyways, but I mean, I agree with you that what we saw with Andrew was, in the range of 3 to 5 feet. But if you're gonna have someone there, it might not hurt to check a couple of spots. I understand not making it a week-long process out there coring, but to verify it and get it right this time, I think is imperative.
And
It
I-
doesn't take a week long.
No,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Just like a
it's
couple
a
hours.
couple of hours in the morning, I mean.
Well, you think that, but these people are busy and they have schedules, and you can't just call up tomorrow. I mean, any of the businesses that you work for, if I say, hey, I need you here tomorrow, you're not going to be here tomorrow to do it. You got to be realistic with your timelines.
So my point was that I really would like to see us get some more cores and get the wetlands delineation nailed down, so we know what it is, so then we can put in the silt fences and the socks. And I think I read in Jean's notes that the socks were supposed to be, completely compostable, sorry. And they're not, the
They're
ones they bought.
composite.
So they're going to have to, after they're done, open them up and take the plastics and the stuff that won't compost out.
That is
But it's
something
something
that-
just to note.
Yep.
But I think we have, and then we need a plan before they go and do the work. So I think it's the survey, the delineation, the plan, and then let's get going.
It was,
Well, no, then they need to put the temporary erosion control up, and then
Exactly.
the plan.
We need that erosion control in, which
Yep.
is why you want to have that wetland line finalized, so that we're all on the same page.
right. He did say on the two new resource areas where the PVC pipe was and where the rock outcropping was, that those flaggings will have to be done, and he said to request more core samples in that area so that it's been able to be identified, because of the fill that's on top of it, you
Yeah.
can't really tell.
Right.
So, and he also said that, I believe he mentioned to Nicole, that with the PVC pipe, to determine whether that was, anything that flows through a pipe can be considered a stream by DEP standards, whether it's stormwater or whatever, if it feeds into an area such as a wetland. So he asked her to check on that as well. I think I put that in the notes.
Yeah, wouldn't there have been shouldn't there have been something when they did the development over there, if it was a stream of some sort, perennial or intermittent?
I think probably we can go back to when John L. Sullivan was developed. I don't know what the NOI numbers were on that, but I'm sure there's files. So, surveying, delineation, 2 new resource areas, reflagged, determination on the PVC pipe outfall. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything?
Install this.
Oh, install erosion controls.
So just, so everyone's on the same page, how are we gonna, with the 2 new areas that Andrew discovered last week, how are we gonna label the areas now? We're gonna call this number 1, this number 2, the PVC pipe area number 3, and then where the boulders are, number 4?
Whatever you'd like, yeah.
Sounds,
Just so
sounds
from
like
now
a
on, we can
plan.
say this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4.
Sounds good.
Yep. And that PVC pipe are pretty much right here, right? Where this
In that vicinity,
cluster of
yeah.
flags are. And where's the other? There's the path right there. Okay. Anybody else from the board have anything to?
No, I think we're just going to have to
Discuss?
put a schedule towards it and revise the enforcement order perhaps.
Does anybody know if Nicole has set a schedule to put those 2 silt fences in, the temporary ones?
She has them coming. I know she, as soon as we left them, that Thursday or less, she contacted them.
Okay.
We get out there. I talked to Cotter, came there, he said he's out 3 weeks. I said, well, okay, as soon as possible, as long as you guys can allow us to use his machine to move it out.
I think the way that it was said is the 2 silt fences will go in by hand now, just the fences, no socks. So 50 feet on each side to stabilize that, and then Nicole was going to put together a restoration plan for us to look at.
Okay.
Then
Yeah,
at that
I
point,
drafted that.
Okay.
Yeah.
and then at that point, we can make a decision how you guys would approach it from there. But I think mainly the important thing right now is just getting those silt fences on either side.
Okay.
And then she can get us the restoration plan at another meeting, we can review that.
All right, I'll let her know that that's the first
Yeah.
order to get done.
Yep. Do we want to set a time limit on that?
Yeah, I'll open it up to the public first. Anybody have anything they want to add to the topic of the enforcement order?
What was this meeting posted? Do we have?
The 14th? All right, nobody else? Bring it back to the board?
So I understand DCR has certain people that they work with, is that correct? That you, like, do you have certain contractors that you work with and that you're required? Pardon? Or just in general, there are people that you require? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'd have to find out, once we do the survey, if that is their property, then we'd have to have another meeting to,
To determine that?
yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the surveying, that's not the state that's going to do that? That's going to be...
It's gotta be the property owner.
Okay.
I've been in touch with somebody too, Nicole, also been in touch with for scheduling that too. So.
I'd reach out to a bunch, because
Yeah.
it's busy right now.
Yeah. So as long as you guys know that.
We know, I know it, but I know if you call enough people, you can find somebody too.
So sometimes the first guy that responds is not the best guy, so.
Should we set a deadline to that?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
So-
have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, set a deadline for that. I think we should set a deadline for everything
Yeah.
ourselves.
Well, really, right now, we can just set a deadline for the erosion control, the delineation,
And the survey.
and the survey obviously is gonna be first.
And we want the restoration plan too, right?
I think we should,
I think all of those need to come.
yeah, but I think we should set a deadline for that after we get the survey and know who the abutters are and have another meeting for that. It's not something that's gonna happen in 3 weeks.
Well, we're meeting next Tuesday, correct?
Yep.
So how long for the surveyor? 2 weeks? Seems reasonable to me.
I think so. And then, obviously, if you
You guys
can't,
have anyone? 'Cause
if you,
the line got-
if you cannot find somebody, just show us proof that you're doing your due diligence and we'll work with you. Because like I said, I know a buddy of mine, he said he's 16 weeks out doing work.
Okay, so you know.
Yep.
So how about the silt fence?
But I also know,
2 weeks is short.
Before next meeting, maybe?
I also know I called the surveyor out on
That's the most important
Thursday
thing we have
last
in
week,
front
and
of
he's
us
coming
right
out next
now.
Tuesday.
Completely unstable right now.
So,
without it.
huh?
This other stuff can take
I
the
can't-
time, now with it being unstable.
We'll have to talk.
Conflict of interest.
So Paul, the silt fence, we were just saying that Tim was saying that by our next meeting, we would like to see the silt fence installed. Should be soon. That's easy enough to do, it should be. I mean, this has
Just the
been
top.
Oh,
going
yeah,
on for...
just the two spots that Andrew was
Yeah,
talking
the
about,
two
yeah.
spots, the 50-foot
Yeah, silt
silt fence.
fences and, silt fences are ready, that's not
So,
an
by
item that
next
you have
Tuesday.
Right.
to wait on to order.
We'll say by the 26th on that, or by the 25th inspection?
Do the 26th, do by the 26th, before 6:30 on the
Okay.
26th.
Yeah. Is that the meeting? 26?
That's what I'm looking
This
at.
month is flying by.
Yeah, it is.
And then
Yeah,
the
26.
wetlands delineation. I would think,
Same time frame
Same
as the
time.
surveyor, maybe?
I'm thinking 2 weeks, yeah.
Hmm?
That gives her some time to get out there and put it together.
This meeting. No, we're talking about our next meeting, which is this one.
So that would make it August 2nd?
Yep. But yeah, let's make them on Tuesdays, just so that if we need, we,
What was the August 2nd one?
Oh.
wetland delineation
6:30.
for
Oh,
areas
well,
3 and
26.
4.
Well, 2 weeks out from
Well, the surveyor
Would make
can
it-
have that too, right? No.
our next
Survey's
meeting
gonna
is
affect
here.
everything, but
2
same
weeks
thing
out
with
is
the
August
delineation.
2nd.
If they, what if they have to put some erosion control there too?
That's true, there's new delineation to do too.
You don't wanna have them put that in, then you have to find out they have to put more there, and they have to do that too. You know, you don't wanna,
So do we do the delineation first, and then I just hate not having the silt fence out there, because we have a lot of dirt, and it's wet. And if it pours at some point, it's gonna be a mess.
You think 4 weeks for the delineation? That gives her time to get the other 2 areas done as well?
oh, yeah.
Where she's, if it was just changing it, I think we could keep it at the 2 weeks, but she is adding 2 areas of delineation.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but the areas aren't that big. I mean, you saw how fast
I
it
did.
was that Andrew kind of
Yeah.
like just drilled into it. So, I mean, she's already aware, and you can see from where the the rocks were in the outcropping, you can see beyond that that's
Right.
wet. So it's just a matter of what's underneath the path.
So you're saying basically when they come back to do the permanent erosion control, they can go back and do those areas too when as they're working their way
Yeah,
out?
the delineation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if there's something really significant that we are upset
We
about.
would have seen it if there
Right.
was.
We would have, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have the surveyor in 2 weeks, the silt fence by next Tuesday, and the wetland delineation August 2nd, is that right? Okay. And
No, our
then,
next meeting, our August meeting would be the
The
So you
ninth.
want to give it to
But-
the 9th? Okay.
no, I would give it to the 2nd, and, because I'd like it,
To look at for the 9th?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'd like to have it before.
Do it the second, yeah. It's not going to take that long to do.
No,
Not a delineation if she's using GPS satellites.
no. So is there anything else on that list? We're going to wait for the plan, but should we give her some date to shoot for the restoration plan at this point?
I think at the restoration plan was...
Well, we already have it in the original
October
enforcement order.
1st was on the
Well,
5/25.
no, that's the total install.
Oh, okay.
I want a plan.
Okay.
I want a plan to see what she's going to do, don't
I
you?
see what you're saying.
So like, do we pick a date in August, as a target date for by August 2nd, we'll have everything. So do we, say we want the plan the following week
By the 9th?
For the 9th?
for the 9th? And that way we've got a real,
It's probably good, because that way if we can review it. If there's stuff we need
Right,
done over, give her time to do it over, and then...
right, if we're going to meet our October timeframe.
And if Mr. Havlin runs into problems, he's going to advise Tony or you directly to let him know that the surveying is, you're not able to,
Yeah, just
get a response.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I've already talked to at least one, so
Okay.
hopefully that works out.
Do we have a date for the erosion control? I don't mean the silt fence, I mean the erosion control.
No, I don't have it. The silt fence I had Tuesday, the 26th, but I don't have the erosion control. We didn't
Maybe
talk
also
about-
on the 9th?
Yeah,
Oh, you want to wait till the delineation's done?
delineation will be done on the
Delineation will be done
2nd.
On the 2nd?
So that would give her, I know she's been working on drafts already, so it wouldn't be from scratch. She
Yeah.
has something to work with.
So do you want to do the erosion control for the 9th or the week after? Do we give her 1 week or 2 weeks after the delineation's complete?
But
Everything else will be done, right?
the thing is, part of bringing the track excavator in there to
Oh, you
install
have
the
to bring the
erosion
excavator
control
in
is
to
you're
put
going to
the...
pull
Because
stuff
of
out.
the size of them.
So
Can't
maybe
do
we
that
need-
without a plan.
So we need the plan.
Yeah.
So maybe, 2 weeks later, after we review the plan, she can put it in, but we
Well, I
can
would say
decide
it's
at the 9th.
Contingent on the plan.
Contingent on us approving the plan.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put a date on that yet.
No. But maybe we can put, anticipated,
We can add a date
we can add it later.
at another meeting.
Okay.
If things, for whatever reason, fall into place and we can do it sooner than later, we can always call an emergency meeting to expedite
Yeah.
this, like we did tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else? So I want to make a motion to amend the enforcement order?
I'll make a motion to amend the enforcement order for 0 Hancock Street.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There is no, well, correspondence we've already gone through. There's no meeting minutes. There were no site visits we've already discussed as part of this meeting.
Right. And we will talk about this at our next meeting?
It'll be on the
correct?
agenda, yep.
So it will be on the agenda next week?
Yep.
Okay, so Tony, you can put it on there. So everybody, you won't get notice, but we should have another meeting to talk.
It's probably going to be on every meeting.
Yeah, so,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I don't mean to interrupt, but what correspondence from the last meeting that I wasn't able to attend, was that given out to any of the commissioners here to review?
Okay. Everybody get a copy of it?
All right, so there's no correspondence on tonight?
No.
Okay. That will be at the next meeting on?
Yep.
Okay.
And same thing, before the next meeting, if you're having trouble getting a surveyor, just email Tony, just who you've contacted, what their availability is and all that.
Yeah.
And do we have a list of surveyors? What about planning board? Would they have anything? Yeah, see, just so we can expedite it on our end.
I think Bob Gray provided me with a list of local people. If he's interested, I can give that to you. He's a wetland scientist out of, I forget what town he's in, Mattapoisett. But yeah, he
Yeah, yeah.
has surveyors from all around, so he gave me a list of like 6 or 7. I can pass them on to Tony and she can send them to you.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I make a motion to adjourn?
I have one thing I want to ask.
Don't make a motion.
I think that I understood that we can't get a Munsell chart and a soil core. Did it get denied? I heard, Tony, is that correct?
It's under,
Review?
he's reviewing it right now.
So I was going to ask if you'd be okay with me writing a letter asking for that we can have because DEP is it's out there, we should
He
have
did,
them.
he did mention it when Tim was doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we really should have probably more than one, but at least if we could get ourselves a set, they're not that expensive. If you're okay with me, I would like to write a letter to the town manager and the selectmen and request it officially. I think that may be the way
Yeah.
to make it move, because we should have it in our possession.
I can reach out to Andrew too, see if he can write a letter too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very informative. I mean, Tim was right in there with the
I
soils.
enjoyed myself.
Yeah, the second thing was, I think we got asked about T-shirts, but I'm wondering if we should get something like a badge or a vest instead, because I'm only going to wear a shirt. It says conservation in the summer, probably, and nobody's going to see it, but in the fall and the spring. Is there any way we could maybe change what we're getting for clothing or get a badge?
No, we can talk about that after.
Can we put that
Not
on the agenda? Can you put that, yeah.
Boots
the
are good.
The boots are good.
Hey, I went in my sneakers.
Yeah, can we put that on the agenda for next week?
I don't know, Mr.
Yeah.
Evelyn, you were in your flip-flops one time. I was like, you're a brave man. Get there in
So that was
flip-flops.
it. That was when
That was good.
my purchasing
Yeah.
spill.
All right, now does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Have a
second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.